Thanks so much for being with us today. We're going to talk about muffins. How many of you have ever gone to a drive-up for a coffee and gotten a muffin? Or maybe gone to the store and purchased a muffin, a store-bought muffin. They come in various sizes. And have you ever wondered, or do you know maybe, how many calories are in those muffins? Or what actually the ingredients are in those muffins? If you've ever read the labels, I think you'll be rather surprised. So today, I'm going to give you an alternative to those fast, store-bought muffins. Many of you don't know that we have a special guest in our audience today, and she is one of the founders of our company, Charlie Moore. And Charlie, I know that you fix these muffins for Bob and your grandchildren. And sometimes people have concerns about our, bran muffins, whole grain muffins being dry.
The thing I do to make them a little moister and also to give a kind of a unique flavor to them, because it kind of changes with the different ones that I use. I use mashed bananas, which give it a nice flavor and moisture. And then I've also used crushed pineapple, and that gives an entirely different flavor and yet very good too. And then also I've used applesauce, which is very good. And these are all kind of neutral things. They're not real strong, and that they add a natural, nice flavor to it that's a little different. And I think it works out great.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. I've even thought of using fruit cocktail. I haven't tried it yet because there's quite a bit of fruit in it and they're quite big. But I make a fruit cocktail cake, which is very moist. So sometimes these things work out in different ways. So.
Good job. Wonderful. Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to take Charlie's suggestion and we're going to add applesauce as our fat instead of fat. It's a wonderful fat replacer. As everyone knows, we are really encouraging people here at Bob's Red Mill, as well as the government, wants you to get lots of servings of whole grains. One of our muffins from our muffin mix has one serving of whole grain. So whether you're eating it on the run or sitting it down, you can have one serving. Now I'm going to start to put this together, and we have our dry ingredients. And for this, for one batch of muffins from our apple spice muffin mix, we have 3/4 cup of water or apple juice. That's another substitute if you want to really bring out the apple flavor of the spiced apple muffin mix. Instead of water, you can use apple juice. And today I'm going to use water. So I have here with the mix, I have 2 cups of the actual mix. So I like to mix the dry and the wet separately and then mix it together. And the recipe calls, on the back of the package, calls for 1 egg, which you can use, or the oil. But today we're going to do a little bit of substitutions. Yes, Terry.
My doctor would like me to avoid fats and stay away from eggs. Any suggestions on substitutions?
Wow. Yes. Fortunately, with baking, it's very easy to use a substitution for egg. And my favorite, which I use personally, is flaxseed meal. Flaxseed meal is ground flax seeds. They're very high in omega-3 fatty acids, which lowers the cholesterol. And when you mix them with water, it's a wonderful egg substitute. The ratio is 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal to 3 tablespoons of water. And all we're going to do is just, before you get going on your baking, the first thing you're going to do, if you want to use this as a substitute, is you put it in ideally warm water and mix it up, and then you let it sit just for a few minutes. And I'll show you in just a minute how it starts to thicken just like an egg. It's a wonderful replacement for eggs. As many of you know, eggs are high in cholesterol, and if you have an issue with cholesterol, this is a great substitute that you can use instead of eggs. So I'm going to have my water, and then in place, Terry, of the fat, we're going to use applesauce. And as Charlie mentioned earlier, not only will this be a replacement for oil and the fat, but it'll also add moisture to the muffins. So I'm just going to add that in here, all my wet ingredients together. And with the applesauce, that's 1/4 of a cup. And then we'll add the honey. And the honey is 1/2 of a cup is what we're going to put in. If you don't like to use that much, don't use that much. Okay, so now we're going to add the flaxseed meal and mix this up together. And then I'll add it to my dry ingredients. And these this batter, this muffin mix will be a little bit on the crumbly side, glumpy side, I should say. Get all that good honey out of there. But you don't want to overmix them, okay? So we'll just mix them up like this. Now that I've gotten the batter mixed up here, it looks really good. This one batch will make 12 regular-sized muffins. However, today I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to make children's mini muffins as well. So I have 2 different pans here that I'm going to use. And you do not need to use the cupcake-type papers if you use a little bit of vegetable spray. Now, you want to have consistency in the amount of batter in each muffin pan, little muffin pan here. So this is another one that I really like to use are these ice cream scoops. And they are so great in that you have the same amount in each little portion of the pan, and then they bake evenly. So you just scoop it out like so. Another secret, if you have problems with it sticking to the spoon, you can just put a little bit of vegetable spray on that, and they come out really nice. So we'll put these in here, quick like. And then with the mini muffins, we'll use a smaller spoon. So I'm going to fill that with 4 or 6 here, and then I'll do these, and if I have any left over, I think I might have enough for one more, but I just want to make sure I have enough to fill the mini muffins. Okay, so we'll just do this quickly here. And then I have my oven set for 400 degrees, and they will cook at different lengths of time, the mini muffins as well as the regular muffins. And so what you need to do is set 2 timers. The main problem, one of the main problems with people in making muffins that are too dry is they overcook them. They cook them too long. And so it's better to watch them, and every oven is different. And so you need to make sure that you find out what your oven is capable of doing, as well as finding out whether or not you have hot spots in the oven. That happens too. And so oftentimes it's best if you can rotate them midpoint of the baking time. And so as you can see, I have enough for one more muffin. And so we'll just put that right in there. And I know that with this particular oven here, we have a hot spot in the right side. So I'm going to have the empty ones here on that right side. Another thing you'll want to do, if you're not able to fill all of your muffins, I guess they're little portion pans, then it's best to put water in them, because otherwise it will burn the actual pan itself. So I'm going to fill it with water. I'll put it right over here. And they go into a 400-degree oven. And this particular oven has a hot spot, so I want to make sure that I avoid that by placing the empty part on that back right side. And again, we'll watch it. The larger muffins, they'll be right around 10 to 12 minutes. The mini muffins, right around 8 minutes. Now, I have made some earlier, so I'm going to pull those out of the oven and let them cool. And when you take this out of the oven, you remember there's water in here, so be very careful because it is hot. And we'll put that on this right here to cool. And we've got our little mini muffins. There we go. So let them cool for a few minutes, and then we'll turn them out on the rack here, and they'll be ready to eat. So there you have it. We've got our wonderful whole grain muffins. I think they're about ready I can take them out. I'm going to just make sure the pan is cool, and we're going to just put them right out here and see how easily they come right out of the pan. That wonderful vegetable spray is really handy. And again, you don't want to overbake them. If you think that they're done, a wonderful way is with a toothpick. Have you ever used a toothpick to insert it? But even if it's just a little bit moist, you want to make sure you don't overcook them. So here we've got these little mini muffins, and these are great for kids' snacks and even for adults. These are wonderful if you want to put them in your desk drawer at work for a healthy snack rather than candy or sugar things. They're wonderful. There we go. So, Whole grains on the go, easy as muffins. Freeze them, store them in Ziploc bags. We used our egg replacer, which was the flaxseed meal and water, as well as oil replacement, which was applesauce. As Charlie said earlier, bananas, pineapple. I think pineapple would be wonderful to keep it moist and avoid the fat and the cholesterol of the eggs. Thanks so much for joining me.